Hi, welcome back to A Moment with Marta. So today I want to talk about masking, and basically it's camouflaging. So a lot of times when individuals with autism, especially women and girls, they feel they have to conform to whatever social situation they're in. Boys do it too, but girls just are innately a little bit more social or required to be more social. So there's a little bit more pressure for girls to fit in with groups and with cliques. Studies show that women, require that kind of close-knit community. They need to have get-togethers where they talk and they visit and they're social. Men usually have like activities that they might do together, but they don't have the same needs socially that women do. And so because of that, girls especially that are on the spectrum have learned to camouflage and mask their autism. And a lot of times, if they're not severe on the spectrum and they're highly intelligent, they can go undiagnosed or misdiagnosed for years before people realize what's going on. Girls might be mistaken for being shy or quiet. I actually remember masking whenever I was a girl. I remember being in groups of people and just not understanding whatever the conversation was, and so I'd kind of nod along. I'd maybe say some catchphrases that I knew were appropriate to say, like, I can't believe that, or other phrases along those lines that are kind of generic that you could kind of just interject. So you could kind of picture like a wife talking to her husband and he's just kind of like on autopilot saying these different responses. It's almost like that. So I remember having moments where I would mask. I didn't realize I was doing it. So you can do it on a subconscious level and you can do it on a conscious level. For people that know that they have stems or behaviors that society frowns upon, or maybe their parents or teachers think is strange or weird, they'll just kind of suppress that in, and it's all inside, and then they just present this front, this mask, this camouflage, and it's a survival technique, really, but it can have some long-term effects on the individual. At the end of the day, you're exhausted from holding yourself in that position, in that social situation, keeping everything together. It causes a lot of anxiety internally, but it's not showing. And so it can be really tricky, especially for really highly intelligent females. Boys can mask too, but it's a little bit more common with girls, which is why I think that a lot of times people, when they think of autism, they think of boys. Boys are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism, and again, I think it's just that social construct that girls are naturally supposed to kind of join and be in social units, and so you camouflage and you mask and you're kind of able to maneuver in that way differently than boys do and are kind of required to interact. And so when you have a student or a child that is masking, they're putting on the face that they think is supposed to be appropriate. They might even have a really pleasant expression. Maybe if they can't make eye contact, they're kind of like staring right here, which is actually what I do a lot of the time, because I get cross-eyed. I will find myself looking back and forth between people's eyes and I get like kind of dizzy and discombobulated. So that's a little trick, guys, that I do personally, is I'll kind of stare like right here. It looks like I'm making more eye contact than I am. So when I am out and about, when I am in a larger social gathering, I have I have a persona that I put on. And so I carry myself and I present myself this way. And I honestly didn't even realize that it was something that I was doing. This was very subconscious on my part until people started telling me that, oh, you just exude such confidence. You would never know that, you were stressed. You just, it's almost intimidating. Even you're so put together. And I'm just thinking, really? If you were inside my head, you would just know what a wreck I am. And so I started realizing that it was something subconscious that I was doing that was kind of a coping mechanism for being in those really large group settings and situations. But I'd come home after an event like that and I'd be exhausted. I have a harder time in larger group gatherings. People are talking over people. You have these half conversations here and there, and I'm here and I'm like waiting for my turn to speak, but people are speaking over each other. I almost don't know when I can join in. And so just trying to keep some of those social constructs in mind. Your brain is constantly focusing on what you're trying to say, so you don't lose your train of thought, so you don't lose what is socially appropriate or acceptable. And it's exhausting. So by the end of an event like that, you're worn out, you're so tired. So for women that are out there that are maintaining relationships, that are in the workplace, that have careers and things like that, at the end of the day, they're worn out, they're exhausted from keeping it all together. So what happens is you get home and you reveal yourself. You're comfortable and you might be that mess that you've been trying to keep together. So like that Coke bottle analogy, it's very like that, where you've kind of been keeping it together. It's been shaken, it's been shaken, it's been shaken. You keep it together, keep it together, keep it together, and then at some point pressure builds and it's going to come out. And it usually comes out at home, around your family. For parents, when you have a child that comes home from school, that might be why you see extra behaviors. They've been exhausted from kind of keeping everything together at school and doing everything that's required of them, that it just wears them out. So that's what masking is. And a way that you can help people with autism that are masking as a way of survival. And again, it's done subconsciously and it's done consciously. It just kind of depends on the person. It depends on the scenario. It depends on the experiences in their life. If there's been a person that's constantly been told, stop flapping your hands, stop doing this, stop doing that, they're going to be thinking consciously, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to suppress myself. I'm going to, chew gum and bite down on it. I'm going to do something internal that nobody can see, but I'm keeping all together. But meanwhile, you're building up all this anxiety inside. At some point, it has to be released. So that's kind of the ramifications of masking. So what you want to do is, when you know of somebody that has autism, you want to meet them where they're at. So figuring out what they're interested in, maybe asking about something that they know a lot about. So like, for example, my daughter is big time into dinosaurs. So if someone really wanted to develop a rapport and a relationship with her, it would be easiest to start one-on-one and to just ask her, something about dinosaurs and get on her level, and she can kind of be herself. She can start to develop a rapport, get a little bit more comfortable, and maybe not feel the need to have to put on that mask. But that's what masking is. If you hear it in reference to autism, it's a defense mechanism. It's camouflaging to protect yourself. It's just kind of another animalistic instinct. It's like the chameleon. You do it to protect yourself, but it does come at a cost. And it creates more anxiety. It creates lots of exhaustion. I know that I usually am very exhausted after big events and things like that, because I've just had a lot of overstimulation. I've been keeping on my presentation face when I'm talking to people, especially people I don't know, there's just a lot more anxiety that goes along there. And so anyway, I hope that helps teach you just a little bit about what might be going on in somebody's head when they have autism, but they're trying to contribute in a social setting, in a situation. Maybe it looks like they're more a part of the group than they are, but if you kind of see some of those nuances, you might be able to decipher, if somebody is struggling in the group or having a harder time comprehending the conversation or maneuvering around in that social situation. So until next time on A Moment with Marta, thanks. Bye.